we've got it in our head that they're like these magic pills, and just because they're not a medication, that they're totally fine to just take for whatever we want. They are supplemental to these solid foundations of habits that we talk about constantly. So if you're someone who is eating a lot of fast food, you're not consistently moving your body, not prioritizing things like sleep and stress management and like supporting your drainage pathways, then supplements are likely going to make very little difference for you. Hey everybody, happy Wednesday and welcome to another episode of The Wellness Effect. And today we're talking about functional supplementation, what we mean by that, how we really personalize it within our program from a root cause based, data driven place, using labs, symptoms, patterns, and things like that, versus just someone who is taking a Costco multivitamin or some random probiotics that they saw on Instagram. We are going to talk about why the quality of supplements actually does really matter, why testing is so helpful when it comes to figuring out which supplements to take, what you can take or utilize to support your body without testing, and just help you sort through, I always call it the supplement graveyard that we all have like sitting in our pantry. So this is going to be a really great episode. But yeah, what have you guys been up to lately?
Well, Lacey and I were together last week. We were very sad that you couldn't be there, but you would have had your baby potentially on the plane, so it wasn't worth it. But yeah, we had a very productive week together. Zach is away, and I was visiting Matt, so I stopped in Kelowna on the way home from seeing Matt, and we honestly just filmed a lot of content. And Lacey and I, when we're together, notoriously are very lazy, and so we made it a priority to not be lazy. And I honestly was so tired by the end of the weekend, but it was really good. We did a photo shoot with just ourselves and it actually was pretty good. It's crazy. Sometimes I'm with photographers ever since then. I'm like, are they seriously just have a good camera and just put it on auto and that's all it is? And they're charging $500 a shoot? Because after that, I'm like, I could for sure be a photographer between that and the freaking Facetune app. But
you do have a knack though, I think. You have the eye for angles.
So does Lacey. I was felt like I had a lot of pressure. She took my photos. I'm like, oh, I'm a model.
It is funny though,
worried.
Because now that we've done that together, see, it's I like my photo taken how I took yours, and you like your photo taken how you took mine. Because I realized all mine look the same and all yours look the same, and I'm like, okay, now I know what Jensen likes. But it is funny. I thought we did really good, and I think I also am a good photographer. But so are you. I was really happy. But yeah, Jensen's I'm scared. I was nervous I wasn't going to get any good ones of you.
Yeah, Lacey's pretty firm with how she wants things done. There's a couple times I'm like, okay. But it was honestly pretty good. We definitely missed you, Kira.
Yeah, I was a little slightly 3% jealous.
I know, we're overthinking it. We're like, well, do we send Kira pictures of what we've been doing, or do we just not say anything, or do we just maybe send her one and
by
one
the stuff
kind of ugly one?
We're sending me. I'm like, oh, they're trying to make me feel included. It's so cute.
No, we didn't, but I was honestly reflecting on it. I was so proud of us, Jensen. Not only were we got a lot of shit done, we were so productive the whole entire time. I'm we didn't even really get a chance to just hang out. We were so on it the whole entire weekend. And like Jensen said, we did not used to be like this. We've notoriously canceled photo shoots the day that they were supposed to happen because we just didn't want to do it. And I was just really thinking about how far we've come over the years.
I was honestly thinking, is that a reflection of where we're at in terms of our health and actually having the energy to get through those things? Because I think that's such a big part of it is I felt good. I'm I can keep doing this stuff. I wasn't oh my God, I'm gonna freaking die. So although I did feel a little bit like that by the last day, but
we were also both thinking that prime follicular phase.
Nice. Smart.
That too.
Yeah, I'm so glad I didn't come on this because I would have been like, what? You guys? No. Please, no.
Yeah, we slept hard and good every single night. And even 2 days after she left, I was tired and
crazy
sleeping 9 hours and getting such good sleeps. But even the next 2 days, I just kept working. I just was in such a good flow and just excited. Yeah, but it was really fun.
We have I'm really in a rage about the way that people drive lately. It just drives me fucking nuts how fast stupid drivers go and I'll like wave people. Like I had a crazy experience on our street. Someone was literally going 90. We're like in a residential and she like flipped. I was like, Ellie was ahead of me on her scooter. I'm like, please slow down, please slow down, please slow down. And she's just like, fuck you, like flipped me off and screamed, fuck you out her window and then like blasted through a stop sign. And I was like, so now every time I come to that stop sign, I'm like, is someone gonna just blow? Is that crazy cracked out bitch gonna blow through this stop sign again? Like, she was so scary.
Ew.
But anyway, Brett like comes in the house this morning. He's like, did you hear that car on the street? I'm like, no. He's like, oh, I can tell he's just like jacked up. And he's like, this teenage boy in this car ripped by our house so fast, one way, then the other way, picked up another kid and started ripping back down our street again. And Brett ran out into the middle of the road and stopped him, like put his hand out and was like, watch your fucking speed.
Good.
And it's like 8 a.m. when all the kids are getting on the bus and like there's kids everywhere on our street and people just drive so insanely, but it just like made my day. He's like, God, that felt good. I'm like, yeah, I wish I could have seen it. I would have loved to do that.
Well, he's doing them a favor because imagine like hitting a freaking kid and killing them when you're 18 years old and the rest of your life is ruined. Like, good luck.
It's scary. And it's like, doesn't take a lot of speed to do a lot of damage. And when you're going fucking 90, like, man, oh man. Anyway.
You need to slow down. You should try your nervous system reset.
Yeah, like, how's your nervous system? But anywho.
How was Ellie's birthday?
It was good. It was like very overwhelming and like emotional for me. I'm just like I'm a little bit emotional these days. And she was like very cranky in the morning. So I was like, had this whole like birthday morning envisioned in my mind. And then she was just like a fucking cyclone.
Does she like get that it's her birthday? Like,
I think
so
she's
smart.
kind of does. Yeah, like I think she does. I actually just saw a reminder in my phone of like when she turned 2 and she's like sitting on the potty holding her little balloons, like her birthday balloons in her hand in the morning. It was so cute. We had a great party. We just go to the park at Bud Miller, like locally. They have like picnic tables, they have fire pits, they have firewood, and then there's like a huge park in this like treed in area. So It's amazing because there's like garbage cans. You just like throw all your shit out. Like we had like a little decoration set up on the table. And then the kids play in the park for like 2 hours. Brett cooked hot dogs on our little like portable barbecue. And then we just like shoved all the garbage into the garbage can and went home. I'm like, wow, this is the best party ever.
Yeah, that's so ideal.
So yeah, it was great. And it's still the time when we invite like all our friends to the party. But this year she was like asking me a little while ago. She's like, Mom, like I need those pieces of paper that tell everybody about my party. And I was like, what? She's like, well, I've got Ava coming. I've got Sloanie coming. I've got Elle coming. And I'm just like, oh shit. Like, sorry, we're not doing that this year. Next year you can invite your own friends.
Oh, that's
but yeah,
so cute,
it's just so funny how she's like, I've got like these are my girls I've got coming. I'm like, oh.
It's my crew.
Yeah, it was so cute.
Oh,
so, yeah.
That's so sweet. Well, happy birthday, Ellie. We love you
Happy
so
birthday,
much.
Ellie. Shout out Ellie.
Shout out Ellie. I actually have something exciting to announce.
What?
I'm pregnant. Just kidding. I'm not pregnant at all. But something actually no one knows is my cycle is getting more regular. So we're waiting for that. But that's unrelated to what I was going to say.
You're not waiting to get pregnant.
No. We're
That's
waiting for one
mean.
more cycle before I start to get a little excited and talk more about it, I think. But no, I'm doing something that actually is going against what I'm talking about. But Matt, it's like such a trend right now. And when Matt and we talked about it on the podcast, did that hike a couple weeks back, it was like hard. And we were just thinking after, like, it's actually crazy. Like, not everyone has their health. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many people that we know, even our age, that like a hike like that, they could probably do, but it would be so difficult and challenging for them. So yeah, after the hike, we were like, wow, it's actually crazy. It's cool to do hard things. And I feel like I haven't pushed myself and like worked to something in so long because I've just been working obviously on my health. And we were like, okay, what can we do? And Matt was like, well, we can do like a triathlon. I'm like, I'm not fucking doing a triathlon. Like, no, thanks. And then we talked about doing a high rocks. And then the friends we were on a hike with, we saw them the next week and they were like, oh, like we kind of want to do a high rocks. And I'm like, oh my God.
This is that thing that you see.
It's super popular. So it's kind of, the reason I like it is it incorporates strength training. It's not like CrossFit in the way that you just go as hard as you possibly can and your form is horrible. Like they really put an emphasis on form. And then there's also a cardio component to it. But the cardio is not like too crazy. And I'm not doing it to like go to nationals, but you can train for it. And I'm like, as I'm starting to train, I realize like I'm not going to completely kill myself. But I was saying to Lacey, because Matt like just signed up for us without like us actually like talking about it, but he got the insurance. If I was like, seriously, like there's no way. But I was talking to Lacey about it. I'm like, I'm so conflicted talking about it because I've moved so far away from like training hard and like I've done a lot of work, but I do feel like my body's in a place where I can like handle training. And it's not like I'm like working out twice a day, 7 days a week. What, Lacey? I'm just laughing at me in the corner the whole time.
I was just going to make a joke. Finally got a regular cycle. Time to prep for a competition. But I was just kidding.
But it's not like a fucking competition prep. I'm not
think
changing my calories or increasing my food, I should say.
And I kind of think that your period issues weren't necessarily from like a overtraining stress standpoint. I think it was like a, well, whatever. But I was just laughing at that in my brain.
I know, I can see you.
Yeah, and I think you're coming at it from so much more of an intentional place of like knowing what's going on in your body and how you actually are feeling and like taking that seriously and then making the decision, not just like, I want to do this to get skinny.
Exactly. And I said to Matt, I'm like, as soon as like I notice I'm like inflamed or I'm not sleeping or I feel like super wired or my cycle goes back to freaking 100 days, like I'm out as soon as that happens, and he's aware of that. So it is definitely different. And I'm like, it's just so funny because I was talking to a girl that I saw over the weekend, and she just actually did a triathlon, and she's in the same space as us, like posts about like regulating your nervous system, like nourishing your body, all of that stuff. And I'm like, I feel like you didn't post about that triathlon at all. And she was like, yeah, I didn't really want people to know about it. So it's so interesting. Like as soon as you go down this route, it's like, I can't let anyone know that I'm actually like working out hard because I like said that it's good to take a break from training, but now I'm working out hard because I think my body's ready. So I'm like, I don't know if I want to share it on Instagram or not. So I thought I'd take this as more of the space, but we'll see.
Cool. I can't wait to watch.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I can't wait to go to nationals and watch you.
Yeah, December 20th. If you want to come watch in Vancouver, that's where I'll be. But so yeah, I'm kind of excited. I've like started running just to like, I just want to like get my cardio up a little bit, but my cardio is so bad. It's actually crazy. So I'm kind of excited to see like what happens, but definitely like eating more to help with that. And yeah, so we'll see. But that's kind of my exciting announcement.
That'll be fun.
It's so trendy right now, so I'm sure I'll see every single person and their dog at the race, but it'll be good. Yeah,
Should we
so
get into it?
Dive into it.
I'm just going to start by talking a little bit about like why supplements are so important, kind of why we wanted to do this episode, because I feel like they're often very misunderstood. And it's funny, I just posted like a supplement post today and I saw that Lacey did too. And I think like we've got it in our head that they're like these magic pills, and just because they're not a medication, that they're totally fine to just take for whatever we want. But they're actually really powerful and they're meant to support our body. They are supplemental to these solid foundations of habits that we talk about constantly. So if you're someone who is eating a lot of fast food, you're not consistently moving your body, not prioritizing things like sleep and stress management and like supporting your drainage pathways, then supplements are likely going to make very little difference for you, which is something I wanted to really drive home in the beginning of this episode. I just think back to what Lacey, we've heard her say this so many times, like they're supplemental. That literally means there's something you add on to like improve something else. If you're taking it for bloating, it's like that is just a band-aid in like a functional, holistic way. And supplements are actually a $200 billion a year industry. And it feels like every other post I see now, especially like as the wellness space broadens, it's always someone selling some like magic supplements. It's going to fix this issue or whatever, like balance these hormones. And it really is like total bullshit. And chronically over supplementing without context, without knowing what's going on in your body can actually increase those imbalances. So, you know, I always talk about my story of like blindly supplementing with probiotics, which I thought I was like doing the right thing. I learned about it in school. Like, oh, if you have any digestive issues, just like take a probiotic and it's going to help everything. And then I ended up going down the functional path and seeing my own GI map and my gut microbiome was so overpopulated. It's actually called an inflammatory dysbiosis, meaning everything is high and it's just going to lead to a ton of inflammation, even if it's the good bacteria. So if you're someone who's been taking like the same probiotic for 3 years, like me, or, you know,
which is so common. And like, we feel like we're doing something right. Like, you feel like when you go and you spend that money on the probiotic, you're like, I'm doing something good for my health.
And even like for me, it was because I had antibiotics after, like, when I gave birth to Ellie, I had antibiotics and I was like, oh, I just need to take this like really intense probiotic. But maybe I didn't. I just needed like one particular strain or something like that. So I think for specific supplements, you can kind of take without testing. But a lot of the popular ones that we see, like, just pushed down our throats, especially online, you really should be testing prior to taking. And then I also wanted to talk a little bit about the quality of supplementation. A lot of people will come to us and they're like, oh, I'm just taking this like Costco multivitamin, or what's that other brand that Jameson, like magnesium, or even anything from Amazon. Like, you really want to make sure they're coming from a reputable brand. So they should be doing things like third-party testing. They should have really strict rules on quality control. So if you have like supplements from Amazon or Costco, you're really just like wasting your money. Honestly, we have no idea what's in them. They're often like boosted with a lot of fillers and have little to no like data to support what's actually contained in the supplement. And they've actually done a lot of testing on Amazon supplements recently. And it's like something like 65% of them don't contain what they say they do. So like, that's just too much for me to want to.
Because with Amazon, like, it can be a seller on there. Like, it could be me or you making magnesium, putting it in a comparable container to a different one. And if you don't look at the seller, you could be getting seriously just like a pill with, like, I don't know.
Yeah, they can like copy the label and the bottle and just make like one small difference to it and then sell it on Amazon. And it's a totally different supplement from a total. So even if it's a good reputable brand like Pure Encapsulations, there could be like a fake on Amazon that has no.
Oh, okay. That's good to know, because I don't ever look at the seller, but I'll buy like Thorn off there, or that's usually the only brand I'll buy off there. But
yeah,
sometimes
but even
the
like
sellers will have like a page, a storefront. And if it has that, you're probably safe if you know the brand. But even with like skincare and stuff, like, you're not supposed to buy it off of Amazon because you don't know what you're actually getting.
Yeah, and I saw like the Queen of the Thrones girl who does the castor oil that we like all love. She compared like a knockoff product of hers, like she had them side by side, and there was literally like one comma added. Like, it was the exact same bottle, the exact same wording, the exact same branding, like all of it, and it was a totally different thing, like product in the bottle. So
that's crazy. Frick. We're in the wrong market, you guys. Let's start selling and slanging fake supplements. I got baking soda in my cupboard. That's wild. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so to me personally, I'll get like some things off Amazon, like electrolytes or like minerals and stuff like that. But most of the time, if we're going to spend the money, supplementation should be very intentional. And so like, you should be like spending money on it, in my opinion. But some of the things that we will support specifically with personalized supplements are things like our minerals or our nutrient repletion. So this is really necessary now when our food source is just kind of like slowly degrading over time, like our soil quality, and we're just not getting the minerals we need from plant food or from animal food. So oftentimes that's something that we're going to be taking for life, like our magnesium, our omegas, things that we really, really need that our body isn't making. Those are the type of supplements that we might take long term. But then there's the difference between taking supplements for symptoms or taking them to shift our symptoms. So if you're chronically bloated, for example, and you're taking this like new anti-bloat supplement, that is still a Band-Aid. You're not fixing what's actually causing you to be bloated, but maybe we do some further investigation into your gut health, find out you have like H. pylori, some other bacterial imbalance. Then you supplement with maybe something like an antimicrobial, like some herbs to help you actually eradicate that pathogen that's the root cause of your bloating. Then you seal up the gut, you repopulate, you're supplementing to shift your symptoms there. And when you're done, you don't even need that bloating supplement anymore. So I think that's just a really important thing to remember, is if you're taking a supplement for a symptom, that's still a Band-Aid. That's the same as like any medication. It's like just Western medicine moving into like functional holistic wellness space. It's just like a pill for every ill. Now it's like a supplement and you're just doing the same thing. So we really want to focus on it from that like root cause perspective. So sometimes we are like going to support progesterone if we know it's low, or support cortisol regulation or thyroid in general. And then we'll look at things like maybe, depending on what's going on in your gut health, we're going to utilize probiotics and binders and digestive enzymes and antimicrobial herbs, like I mentioned. And then there's things that can support things like detoxification and drainage, and those might be longer term. So I always kind of like group supplements into like 3-ish categories. And the first is like lifelong support. Like we're all remineralizing our water for life. We're all maybe doing some sort of like omega or magnesium. Like those are things you just kind of need to have on board, maybe a digestive support. And then there's things that can help you manage your symptoms while you're moving through a bigger protocol. So say you are really bloated and it's just like so uncomfortable, or constipated, I think is like a really good one. We might need some supplementation on board to get your poops going, because that's going to help with so many other symptoms. But again, it's not a root cause. So then we have that third kind of tier of supplementation that is like actually fixing that root cause, whether it's like overgrowth or your gut microbiome is just really depleted, like things like that. And it should just be short term for those two types of supplements. So that's kind of like why we're here, why we're talking about it today.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. And again, it's like everything she just said, it doesn't matter if you're not doing the foundations, because that is what the supplements are going to supplement. And so it's like, even though a lot of our clients will get bigger supplement protocols based on what we found in their test, before they're doing those supplements, their protocol is the foundations. So just a reminder. But Jensen, do you know of any like signs that we might need functional supplementation?
Oh, I know some signs that you might need functional supplementation. So let's dive into it. But I think just to summarize what Kira and Lacey said, like everything I'm going to talk about, it'll kind of be like symptoms, but at the end of the day, like if we can test prior, that's great. And I think it's important to realize like our body's constantly giving us feedback. And so a lot of people think like, oh, I'm just tired, I'm just bloated, I'm just anxious, when really a lot of the times these signals are our body is struggling in different areas and our whole entire systems are struggling. So you're not just bloated, it's probably correlated with something else, and you might need that deeper support. And that's where functional supplementation isn't just like about chasing those specific symptoms. It's about listening to those cues that are coming up and figuring out why are they showing up. And what I wanted to say is like, that's a red flag. Like if you go to a naturopath or you go to a functional practitioner and they give you thousands of dollars worth of supplements, then you should be questioning that and not just accepting that, because if they're just throwing a bunch of supplements at you without giving you lifestyle support, nutrition adjustments, etc., then they're making money off of those supplements is all I'm going to say.
Yeah, and especially without testing, because I just think like sometimes once we get the testing, you need like a pretty intense protocol, and it can be expensive, especially in Canada, which just sucks so bad. But if it's just blindly like, oh yeah, I'm pretty sure this is probably what you need, but I haven't done any testing, I just like giving it a good guess, then yeah, definitely.
Well, even I just had a friend and she had like low AMH after she came off birth control and she went to the naturopath. The naturopath didn't even do blood work, just gave her like seriously $1,000 worth of supplements to buy. And I was like, what about like the alcohol and like the fact that you barely eat anything? Did she talk about that at all? So yeah, that's just like an example.
Hundreds of stories like that. So just know, you guys, before you buy $1,000 worth of supplements.
And I wish that was an exaggeration, because like you actually hear people spending $1,000 worth of supplements. And I'm like, okay, that naturopath is probably making 25% commission on that. So that's good for them. Anyways, so I'm going to just talk about some like general red flags that we want to kind of like pay attention to and where supplements could potentially come into play there. So chronic fatigue that isn't like resolved by getting more sleep. I think we hear that often where it's like, I'm sleeping 8 hours, but I'm not getting better sleep. And this isn't a way of saying like, oh, just go take melatonin and then there's your supplement, but it's really trying to like dig deeper into what that is. And so maybe it's supplements like B vitamins or magnesium or adrenal support can sometimes help when you understand what systems specifically are under stress. And then other things are going to be like hormonal imbalances. Once again, especially because I'm in that PCOS space, I see a lot of people being like, oh, just take inositol and take vitamin D and take chromium and take magnesium and then you'll be good. But there's so much more that goes into that when they're not focusing on like, you can't just take berberine and then be like your blood sugar and insulin is totally fine. You still need to like implement the changes in nutrition. And so maybe it's irregular cycles, PMS, fertility struggles is a big one where we just throw like some random.
So many supplements. It's crazy. It's fucking crazy. Yeah.
And hear a lot more of those stories, but like thyroid symptoms, those issues are often stemming from nutrient gaps or mineral ratios being off balance. For example, like zinc and copper are huge for hormonal balance. And so if that ratio is off, it can really throw off progesterone production or thyroid conversion, for example. And so when someone has those hormone issues, it's not just about taking a hormone or taking progesterone or taking vitamin D, for example, with that ratio being off, taking zinc, right? So that's another one. And then obviously digestive complaints are another thing. And I think all of us are kind of on board for having that digestive support in some way, shape, or form. Regardless if you have issues, can be really beneficial if it's like a digestive bitter or apple cider vinegar, or maybe you throw in a digestive enzyme if you need that extra support. But when we look at having those constant and chronic bloating, acid reflux, constipation, diarrhea, they're really big indicators that your gut needs additional functional support. And it probably needs, if just the bitters, just the apple cider vinegar, focusing on your meal hygiene isn't helping with that, then we probably need to dig a little bit deeper because it might be low stomach acid, poor bile flow, dysbiosis, lack of digestive enzymes. And in these cases, functional supplementation can help, but we really recommend doing that after testing when it comes to like probiotics, any kind of like antimicrobials. Another thing we see a lot is stress. There's so many like anti-stress supplements and like calm supplements out there. And a lot of the times it's full of fillers and it's not necessarily what we actually need. And so if you're constantly feeling like wired but tired or anxious, or we really struggle to like deal with stress, your adrenals could be taxed, your nervous system could be taxed, and minerals like magnesium and sodium, potassium can be really, really beneficial because they get depleted under that chronic stress. But once again, the best thing you can possibly do is do that testing, because if you start pounding back magnesium, but you're not actually absorbing it, you're wasting money on these supplements. And the last one I'll go over is like slow wound healing, brittle hair, nails, skin issues are another thing where we might need to add in functional testing. And I know we're not giving you much in terms of like what specific supplements you should be taking. So we will be going over that. So just stay tuned if that's what you're waiting for. But when we have, I see obviously working a lot with people with acne. If you're one of those people and you scar really, really easy, you have a really difficult time seeing your like acne kind of recover afterwards, then that is another sign that there probably are more deficiencies going on there, whether it's like our detoxification, our even just like protein, collagen, whatever that might be. And those are kind of the situations where you can actually see it showing up on the outside. And then I'll just quickly go into like functional lab testing and how exactly we can kind of like use that and how it gives us insight into like what's happening under the surface instead of guessing. And so with the HTMA, that's a big one, the hair tissue mineral analysis, that shows us how our body is actually like utilizing those minerals over time, not just like what's going on in the blood in that specific moment on that very specific day in your cycle, which is really, really great. So there's a ratio that shows if we have hidden copper, there is a ratio that shows if we are balancing our blood sugar well and our ability to like handle stress. And so an HTMA can really give us insight into all of those aspects. And then from there, tell us exactly what we need in terms of supplementation. And same thing goes with the GI map. It helps pinpoint those gut imbalances, whether it's H. pylori, parasites, that low beneficial bacteria, or even that overgrowth of beneficial bacteria that could be driving the bloating, skin issues, fatigue. And so once again,
That's where that targeted supplementation that we only can know through testing, like antimicrobials, binders, but only until we know, once again, what's actually happening in there. So those are kind of the main ones we use. Obviously, there's the Dutch test as well. But once again, with the Dutch test, a lot of those are hormonal imbalances that we're most likely targeting with lifestyle adjustments and looking at why are hormones imbalanced rather than just giving you progesterone, giving you testosterone or whatever it might be. So not that we ever do that.
Yeah, I think just knowing that like hormones are always downstream of something is so important, because I feel like it's a really sensitive topic for a lot of women, especially like what Jensen said. In the fertility space, we always think, oh, it's just my hormones. Like that's kind of where we go. Or cortisol is like really easy to slang, I guess. But your hormones just don't like wake up one day and decide to like do some crazy shit. Like they're doing it because you have an imbalance in your gut, or because you don't have the mineral building blocks to literally like make enough cortisol if it's low. So it's always like something downstream of that. And I think just seeing how many people come to us like doing all this supplementation for their hormones, and then we test their hormones and we're like, yeah, you're feeling better. Maybe the symptoms you had of hormonal imbalance, like your acne is gone and whatever, but your hormones are still totally shot. I've seen that so many times. So that's like, again, that Band-Aid just
and even with
PCOS,
like hormones is such a broad term. I think when we think of hormones, we think of like estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, and those like sex hormones. But when we talk to people with PCOS, they're like, oh, it's my hormones that are out of balance. And that it's like I have high androgens, but really like, okay, well, what is causing that? And that's insulin. It's not, the root cause isn't those hormonal imbalances. That's happening from something else. Lacey, can you give us some practical things that listeners can do?
Yeah, I would love to. But first, I seen this meme or like quote the other day and I was like, wow, that's so good. It was like, there's no such thing as hormones being out of balance. They're perfectly in balance with your lifestyle, your nervous system, and your like eating habits or something like that. And I was like, wow,
I saw that too. Yeah.
So good.
Like your whole environment is
because it's true. So it's just something to pay attention to. And it's like even what we were talking about in the beginning, where there's so much in this space now of like, take this whatever and it's going to balance your hormones, or it'll lower your cortisol, or it will whatever. That's what Kira's talking about, where we've had people come in and they're like, oh, I'm on this specific juice and it's supposed to do all of this. And I feel
supposed to make me happy.
Yeah. And it's supposed to make me feel so much better. And I feel so much better since I've been taking it. And then we run their tests and they're completely not where they should be at all. So it's like they kind of had that fake illusion that they were getting better and that their hormones were healing and balancing themselves. But in reality, that was just like a symptom that if one, you ever decided to come off of it, or I think even if you never did, eventually that it's going to kind of stop working in that way. But that's also the difference between actually truly healing the root cause or going to the naturopath or working with these other coaches or people in the space where you feel better in their program and you might get quicker results, like see you in a year, because all your issues are going to come back.
And the other thing about doing that is like, I always picture it as like a big bucket with like one hole of water in it. And it's like you put a Band-Aid over that one hole of water, that one symptom, your hormonal imbalance. Your body's going to be like, okay, she's not listening to the acne. She's not listening to the infertility. She's not listening to the whatever. So I'm going to have to show her another way, and it's just going to pop up over here. And now all of a sudden you have gut issues, or your hair starts falling out, or you can't sleep. And then your body's just going to keep slapping a Band-Aid over that hole. It's just going to pop a new one to like beg you to listen.
But that's totally true. Cause I was talking to someone the other day and she's like, well, I took Accutane and it cleared my skin. And I'm like, oh yeah. Okay. So like, when did your constipation start? She's like, actually like right around the same time. And I was like, yeah, because that was your body's way of communicating with you that something was off, and you just like forced it into whatever. So it found another way. So yeah, that's so good. But yeah, there's definitely some stuff that you can do. Obviously, we're not going to give a specific supplement protocol for anyone. And we always recommend that before you buy any supplement or you chase any biohack, you need to nail your foundations. You've heard us say it before, and we'll say it again. But the basics move the needle more than any pill or powder ever will. And also too, like a lot of the foundations are supplement in a way, right? Like we talk a lot about with our clients about functional foods. Like there's a lot of foods that you can incorporate that are just as good as a supplement, and they're also cheaper, and they're also just going to be better for you long term and will help you incorporate other good habits. So when we talk about foundations first, we are talking about like food, hydration, minerals, your daily circadian rhythm, or just your daily rhythm in general. And you cannot out supplement a lifestyle that's running on stress and caffeine and chaos. There's just no way. It's just not possible. And for a lot of us, that's what we want, right? Because it's like sometimes these foundations just require a lot of effort to change, but we kind of think, well, I'd rather just take a pill than like change my eating habits or like go to bed at a normal time or whatever. But that pill is only going to get you so far. And like Kira said in the beginning, sometimes it can actually cause more issues if you're just taking them blindly. So if you're starting your day with coffee on an empty stomach and you're ending it with scrolling at nighttime or in your bed, it's like you don't need melatonin supplement to help you sleep, and you don't need to take ashwagandha in the morning to help with your stress. Like you need to stop doing those things and then you're going to feel better. So you need to rebuild it. But yeah, first kind of focusing just on real food. I think that's going to move the needle the most for everyone. I know it's like groundbreaking advice, but your body does enjoy real food over the highly processed fake food. And there's a lot of minerals and vitamins in whole foods, which is another just kind of like icing on the cake. Not every meal, I don't want to speak in absolutes, but most meals should have protein, a healthy fat source, carbs from like whole unprocessed sources. So you can kind of think like eggs and avocado or grass-fed meats or fruits or root vegetables, things like that, like real foods, foods that do not require a label, foods that can be easily found if you shop on the outside of a grocery store. That's going to be a really great place to start for most people. And then also with your hydration. So most women or people are dehydrated and they think that they're just tired. But when you really start to understand how our body utilizes water and the minerals, our cells literally need the water and the minerals to create energy. So we do want to aim for filtered water, and then we are adding those trace minerals back in. And you can buy the trace minerals, even if you just start with like a pinch of high quality sea salt, that's going to do really good for you. There's trace minerals in that, or even like we talk a lot about adrenal cocktails and coconut water and things like that. It's just added ways to get in those minerals without needing to buy supplements. And if you think about it, it's like if you just bought a supplement to get in all of those minerals and vitamins, and then you're eating highly processed foods, like that's not going to do anything, right? So it's kind of killing two birds at one stone. One, you're going to have a much healthier diet overall because you're prioritizing whole foods, and then you're also getting the supplementation along with them. So focus on that first. Like look inside your fridge before you look to buy another supplement and see like what changes can I kind of make here.
One thing I was going to say too that helps my like mindset around it is that when you just take a supplement, that's all you're getting. Like if you take, not that magnesium supplements are bad by any means, but if you just take a magnesium supplement, you're only getting magnesium. Where if you're more approaching it like I'm going to eat more foods high in magnesium, you're also getting all of the different nutrients that are in those foods, because there's not many foods where it's like this only has magnesium, this only has potassium. It's going to have other nutrients in there as well.
And whole foods will likely have whatever the cofactors are for that mineral that you need to actually utilize it. So it's, yeah, I love that. And I was just going to shout out Nettle Tea because,
yeah, like shout out Nettle Tea. Love you. I'm in love with you. But no, that's what I was going to say.
I
It's
name
like
my baby Nettle. That's actually so cute.
Wait, I actually like that.
Can you imagine? That would be so on brand. I love that. But no, that's what I was going to say, Kira. Like, it's crazy also when you just start understanding what cofactors are and what's needed to absorb certain things. And then like how all of these foods just like magically have those things. Or even when foods have like too much of a bad thing, they also have other things in them that will make like cancel that out. Like that's big with fish,
Tuna.
right? With the
Mercury.
like, mercury levels and stuff. Then they have like selenium, which will help support that. So it's just like, yeah, it's actually so cool when you really dive in. But start with that. Start with
and
your
eating
food.
enough. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pardon what?
Like making sure you're actually eating enough.
Yeah. Make sure you're eating
Piece of that
enough.
puzzle.
That's going to be also huge. That's probably step number one. But just eat more real food. You're going to feel fuller for longer. You're going to have more consistent energy throughout the day. Like it's such a game changer if you're just eating real food. So once you guys are eating real food and you're ready for the next level, there are some like super basic few supplements or even just daily habits that are pretty much safe and beneficial for almost everyone. And Kira kind of mentioned these. So magnesium is something that most people do need to supplement with and can kind of be a safe, like everyday supplement for the rest of your life. Obviously making sure that you're buying a high quality one, but it really is your nervous system's chill pill. And it does support your stress response, and it supports pooping regular muscle relaxation and hormone balance and all of those things. So magnesium can be a good thing to supplement with. And I think we recommend that to most people. But again, if you're not eating a whole food diet and focusing on that and your diet is trash, magnesium is not going to come and save you taking a supplement. Like you have to be doing the other things for it to matter.
Yes.
But I have a magnesium lotion that I really like. Yeah. That's kind of how I get my magnesium. But yeah, there's lots of different ways and things to do. What foods are rich in magnesium? Do you guys know off the top of your head?
I think like dark chocolate, of course, dark leafy greens. I want to say pumpkin seeds are high in magnesium and potassium.
And I think sunflower seeds are high in magnesium.
Lots of good ways to get in magnesium, but always better to do it through food. And again, if you just start eating more whole food, you'll start eating more magnesium. And then electrolytes and minerals. So as we know, most of us are depleted, and it's not always our fault. The environment that we live in, the soil that our food is grown in, just doesn't set us up for success. So sodium, potassium, trace minerals are your energy spark plugs, and they keep your adrenals and your thyroid chugging along. And so energy issues, a lot of the time we do kind of link back to mineral imbalances. And so we kind of believe that everyone should be filtering their water and then remineralizing it, like I said, with either just the sea salt, or you can buy the trace minerals. That's what we like to use. And then just different ways, like nettle tea is really good, has a lot of those electrolytes and minerals in them.
Even like a good quality salt. This is something like I learned when I was going through my HTMA course, is that like a good quality salt doesn't just have salt in it. It's going to have like magnesium. It's going to have other beneficial vitamins and minerals in there as well. Yeah. So that's something I think is like so worth the investment for me, because it's so easy to just like throw that salt, and you're not only getting good quality sodium, you're also getting those other added benefits from it. But I don't know if that's exactly what you were looking for.
Salt is so good.
Like, so good.
We had to be scared of salt for so long, and it's such a shame because you just load it on everything. But that's totally true. Like just getting a good quality salt, one, it's going to make your whole food meals taste way, way better, but you're also going to be getting those minerals in when you need it.
And that goes with all spices. And like,
yeah, that's
if
true.
You can get like a good quality, spices are so good for us. There's so many different like added benefits. And I just thought of this, like investing in better of the spices probably goes a long way.
Yeah. And again, like if you're eating a whole food diet, that's the best way to make your food taste differently. And again, you're killing two birds with one stone. You're eating whole foods, your food tastes good, and you're getting in those added benefits from spices, herbs, whatever it may be. So definitely something that everyone can kind of do. But I think even what Kira said, it's like also starting to shift your mindset of supplements don't just come in a pill or a powder. These are all supplements that we're talking about. And so it's like when you go and find yourself, oh, what next supplement I should take? It's like maybe supplement of whole foods is, and sunshine is like a great place to start. And then another one that's going to be safe for a lot of people, just because most people's diets is quite low in omega-3s compared to like the amount of omega-6s that we get in on a daily basis. The ratio actually really does matter. So supplementing with some sort of high quality omega-3 is going to be good. They're also like an anti-inflammatory fat that supports your brain, your hormones, and your cell membranes. So you can get them from supplementing with food with like salmon, sardines, or if you just buy like a good quality fish oil. I think I take cod liver fish oil right now. And then the next one is probiotic rich food. So this is huge. And again, going back to Kira's example about like everyone just kind of blindly taking a probiotic because it just means that you're going to have good gut health if you take a probiotic. It's really not something that we recommend doing unless you did get tested. But if you maybe aren't in a place where you want to get tested and you're starting to have digestion issues, and just in general, even if you don't, you do want to have a diet where you are incorporating these probiotic and prebiotic rich foods. And so just starting to include more of those things before you go buy a random probiotic is going to be really great. So when you think about probiotic rich foods, it's mainly like fermented foods is kind of the best way to think about it. So sauerkraut, kimchi, kefir, yogurt. Those are some things that you can just incorporate on a daily basis, getting into the habit of having a tablespoon of sauerkraut or kefir or something with every meal is going to do a lot more. And it's kind of almost like a perfect balance of the probiotics and stuff in your gut. And so it shouldn't really wreak havoc on them, but also pay attention, right? Because if you do have extreme overgrowth of bacteria, even increasing your fermented foods, even though it is usually a safe bet, can start to cause issues, symptoms, and things like that. So it's like, that's why just being aware and being in tune with your body is so important. And so it's not saying that everyone should just start going and eating like all of the sauerkraut. If you are experiencing really bad gut issues, you really should just save up your money and get functional testing, to be completely honest, because it can happen. But for most people, it's going to be okay and safe. But again, just pay attention to how you feel off of them. And
even just like, this is something that I just clued into like a while ago, but this whole pregnancy, if I open the fridge and there's like pickled carrot or sauerkraut in there, my mouth just like starts to water and I like have to eat it like right now. And I've never really felt that way. And I thought it was a pregnancy craving. But then when I did my GI map recently, it was kind of the only thing I need to work on was like repopulating my gut microbiome now, just from I've done a lot of cleansing. And I'm like, okay, is this actually a pregnancy craving that I'm noticing? Or is this like my body telling me like it's time to repopulate? And it's very important for like a baby.
So cool.
But yeah, because
Are you craving potassium-rich foods?
No.
I was honestly curious. I'm like, that'd be really interesting if you were like, oh, I really want like potatoes and like.
From my personal experience, when Kira's like, okay, you need to drink this potassium-rich smoothie every day. I'm like, I'm eating that as a salad right now.
Yeah.
Literally exact same
so
thing.
Weird.
Like, so that is probably a thing, which is.
But it is like carbs in pregnancy is like what everybody kind of wants. And our potassium needs are so high. And like, yeah, that's crazy. So interesting. I just kind of clued into that.
Things that make you go, And then, one last thing that's kind of safe, and I think Jensen mentioned this, is just digestive support. Again, we're just live in a world where we're not really supporting our digestion before we eat. And so things like taking digestive enzymes, especially if you're maybe going out for dinner, you're eating like a more heavier dinner, something that you don't normally eat, or if you're just even out of a routine, right? Because so much of our digestion comes based on how we are eating the food, not even necessarily what we're eating. And so maybe if you're traveling or if you're on the road and you need to eat, or you're just not in the calm state, it can be good also to support your digestion a little bit more. But I don't think there's going to be much harm coming from taking a digestive enzyme with most of the meals that you eat, or even something like bitters. I think we all take bitters before our meals. Yeah, most days anyways, not every meal. I'm not the greatest at it, but bitters, again, will just kind of get those digestive juices going. And it's exactly what Kira just talked about. Like when you start saliving, that's what usually should happen, but we're just in such a go-go state all the time. We don't usually allow our body time to do that. So that can help, or even the little apple cider vinegar before meals can really help. And I think, Jensen, you mentioned this, not on this podcast, but maybe in your content or something, but also not a horrible idea to also just mix it up between what you are taking for digestive support. So, instead of taking apple cider vinegar every single day, all day before your meals, maybe going back and forth between bitters, but I don't know if that actually matters.
Yeah, no, that's right. And I did say that, but I got that straight from Kira's mouth. So,
so credit to Kira, but
nice. I was
somehow
like,
worked our way around.
Yeah, it's nice to just mix it up and not also just be taking a pill every time or spraying that stuff in your mouth. Like you can do, I always usually do.
Yeah, because it's not the most enjoyable, which makes it a hard habit to stick to. Like bitters is disgusting and apple cider vinegar is disgusting. And so it's like, it helps me. I switch it up. But so those are definitely just some things. So to recap, magnesium, electrolytes and minerals, omega-3s, probiotic rich foods, and then digestive support. And again, you can get most of these just through eating more whole foods. It doesn't necessarily mean you need to go and buy a magnesium supplement or omega-3 supplement. You can get a lot of those just from food. And then once those foundations are dialed in, obviously we can look at more like personalized layers. And that stuff is always going to be better guided by testing or practitioner support. And so I'm not going to sit here and give you guys a supplement protocol. I'm also not a doctor. And so that'd probably be a legal battle that I don't want to get into. But there are like adaptogens or adrenal support if you're kind of dealing with that chronic stress, that burnout, those blood sugar swings. There's obviously targeted gut support, enzymes, binders, and antimicrobials. But
microbials.
Yeah. Me and Jensen made fun of me a lot this weekend for how much I just mess up random words and say random words backwards and stuff. But I think I have
put a little
dyslexia,
spin on it.
So just, that's why you guys love me though, right? But again, we're only ever going to recommend those things if you've done testing or working with someone who actually knows what they're doing. Lots of stuff that you can take for liver support. You don't necessarily need like a specific supplement protocol. Maybe I should have included this in the other one, but you could do things like milk thistle, dandelion tea. The bitters also support your liver, or as you know, we love a good castor oil pack. So that's all good for liver support.
Yeah,
and
I think
then,
we just like liver support altogether.
Yeah.
Like there's no harm in just having a little bit extra liver support.
Right.
there.
Yeah. So I think that could have probably went up a section in my notes because
there's so many things we can also do before like getting a milk thistle supplement. You know what I mean?
And then there's things we can do to support your mitochondrial. So a couple different supplements. I don't even think I'm going to really name them because again, this isn't something that you guys should just be going out and blindly taking.
Okay. So I am on a pre and a probiotic because we all know that my gut microbiome was poopy. I do take a really high quality omega that I'll most likely take very long term. And then I have like, honestly, 3 different prenatals that I go between. I have my like custom Vicon blend that I consider a prenatal that was based specifically off my HTMA. And on the days that I can't choke it down because it doesn't taste very good.
Yeah, because I think that's something we didn't mention, but supplements are also hard on your body, right? So it's like you don't always want to be taking a laundry list. You also don't want to be taking supplements for years on end. They are meant to kind of cycle on and off of. So yeah, that's a good point.
I kind of keep it pretty basic too. I do take like an inositol for my PCOS. I've been taking that for a little bit and I'm not sure if that is playing a role in like seeing my cycle improve, but that's one of those things we don't want to take blindly because we can see if people take those long term pushes them into more of a slow metabolic rate. So just a little tidbit there. But then other than that, I take a collagen. I love my collagen. I'm currently not on any mineral blend, but I do like nettle tea. I do my Aussie Trace minerals. I have a like electrolyte powder that's basically just dried coconut water. I've been thinking about this. It's from Paleo Valley. They have really great stuff, but it's expensive for us Canadians to get. But they sent me 4 different mineral blends and I was looking at the ingredients yesterday and it was seriously just some monk fruit sweetener, potassium, coconut water, another coconut supplement and salt. Such good ingredients. That's an example that we just need more freaking coconut water. So I take that and I'm trying to prioritize more electrolyte support with me running and sweating more. And my Aussie Trace minerals. And there's one other thing I'm taking right now. I had it in my head. Bitters. So that's kind of my lineup right now. Yeah, pretty minimal.
See, you don't need much, especially when you eat mainly whole foods.
But I do want to do my HTMA again soon and get another blend because I just know it's time.
Yeah, honestly, I'm just the same as you guys. I am on like a protocol right now for my HTMA, but that's very custom to me, so I'm not going to go through it. But when I'm not on that or even in conjunction with that, I pretty much do the same as you guys. So nothing too crazy. You don't need anything too crazy, but definitely already starting to feel so much better off my mineral protocol. So that's been really nice, just noticing like the shift in the energy and stuff. But we kind of recommend, and we often say that like doing the HTMA test for the rest of your life every 6 months or so, and then just getting your appropriate vitamin blend, because we actually have this really cool thing that we can do if clients are open to that and want that. When we get your HTMA results, instead of giving you like 10 or 15 different supplements of everything that you need, we actually can create like one big blend for you that's just specific for you through this one supplement company. And so it pretty much puts everything that you need based on your results into this thing. And then you just get to take that one. It's like a powder scoop, which I think is really cool. So we kind of always say that that's like a lifetime multivitamin and can kind of be whatever stage of life you're in. And it's pretty much probably the way to get the most out of your supplements and actually know what you need and what you're paying for.
We don't make commission off of it, and we do it because it works and it's easy to stay compliant with.
And it's actually a pretty good deal based instead of like buying the individual supplements. And it's so funny. I'm like done my supplement protocol for like my first pill that I have to take the first of the day. I take like 4 things right at get-go, and I'm always so good at doing that. And then I'm like halfway through it for my lunch. And then by the nighttime, I'm like, I'm still so behind. So it just makes it so much easier for that way. I wish I would have done that, but I didn't. But anyways, and then just kind of to leave you guys with some mindset shifts around supplements, which I think we've kind of driven home at this point, but supplements are tools. They're not forever crutches. So don't rely on them to fix a shitty lifestyle that's still out of alignment. They are meant to support your healing while you build these sustainable habits. And like even Kira said, sometimes we need that relief of, you know, we're just so constipated or we're so exhausted or whatever that we can supplement. And we're not saying that like using a supplement as a band-aid is always a bad thing. But if you are using a supplement as a band, it should always be in conjunction. And not even supplement, but like anything that's going to like focus on the symptom. We're not saying it's bad to do that, but you should also be working on these other things because for an example, it's like people with really, really bad period cramps or endometriosis or whatever, they'll go on birth control because they literally cannot function. That is okay, but you should also, while on birth control, be doing things to not only support your body in ways that birth control is depleting it or making a negative impact on it, but also setting yourself up for maybe one day not having horrible, painful periods or whatever it may be. So just know that. And then it's always better to test, don't guess before you just kind of blindly start taking supplements. Track your symptoms, especially if you can't test or you're not in a place where you want to invest in testing right now. Like track your symptoms, note how you feel, use data if you can. And then if something's working, great. But it's like, if it's not working, then stop it, right? If you started eating sauerkraut and now all of a sudden you feel worse, it's like, okay, that's a pretty big sign that you got some gut issues going on. It doesn't mean to just continue to eat sauerkraut every day because we told you to. And less will always be more, I think, when it comes to supplements. It's better to take a few things that are really targeted than a whole cupboard full of random bottles. And that kitchen sink or throwing spaghetti at a wall, like, approach just stresses your liver and your wallet, to be completely honest. So it's not always bragging rights to have a 50 supplement lineup that you're taking every day. But healing really doesn't need to be complicated or have to be complicated. It's just about understanding what your body is asking for and start with the basics and build from there. If you're listening and you're feeling slightly overwhelmed, just start with your food, start with hydration, your sleep, your stress management, and then add in some minerals and then go from there.
Yeah, love it. All right. Well, thanks for listening, guys. If you made it to the end, please like, share, leave a review on your streaming platforms. And if you're on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell to be notified when we drop new episodes.
Have a
Bye.
great day.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in to The Wellness Effect. We're so grateful to be part of your wellness journey. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and follow us on Instagram. We'll put all of our handles in the show notes. If you have questions or ideas, slide into our DMs or send us an email. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, keep creating your own wellness effect.